though, right?
Are you lying that you didn't?
Listen, I'm going to tell you like this.
Figure out
My dick. How about that? I'll see you in trial. Suck my dick.
A young woman walks out of a bar with a charming stranger. By morning, she's dead. Hours later, another woman tries to help that same man with directions. He strangles her, then runs over her body so many times that witnesses say she's unrecognizable. 2 murders in less than 24 hours. 2 innocent victims who never saw it coming. And here's the twisted part. After his arrest, thousands of people across America started calling him attractive, sending him love letters, and donating money to his defense fund. All because his name happens to match a Marvel superhero. This is the story of Wade Wilson, the so-called Deadpool killer, and the 2 women whose lives he destroyed on one brutal day in Florida. October 6, 2019. A regular Sunday night in Cape Coral, Florida. 35-year-old Christine Melton was out with her friend Stephanie at Buddha Live, a local bar with live music. She was laughing, drinking, enjoying her evening. Just a normal night out. By the next afternoon, she would be dead. And she wouldn't be the only one. The man who would kill her was sitting at that same bar. His name was Wade Wilson. 25 years old, covered in tattoos, charming when he wanted to be. October 6, 2019. A regular Sunday night in Cape Coral, Florida.
Day that there was a young girl said she had been to my Sunday school class and she was 14 years old. Her mom came to me and asked if I was interested in adopting her baby. Now we changed his name from Anthony to Wade. My older daughter said, "No, Mom, we can't have anything like, Tom or Henry. We have to have a W." So I've always liked the name Wade, and I said, well, we'll call him Wade, and we'll name him Stephen. Even though my husband's name is Steve, we'll name him Stephen. Wade Stephen Wilson.
I knew Wade's mom. She was pregnant with his name was Anthony. I got in some trouble. I was about to get out in 2 months, a legal document. She was putting him up for adoption. I understand that was 100% the right decision to do. The people that adopted him, his mother, her parents knew these people from their church. It just worked out where they adopted him, and gave him a good life. They're good people.
35-year-old Christine Melton was out with her friend Stephanie at Buddha Live, a local bar with live music. She was laughing, drinking, enjoying her evening. Just a normal night out. By the next afternoon, she would be dead. And she wouldn't be the only one. The man who would kill her was sitting at that same bar. His name was Wade Wilson. 25 years old, covered in tattoos, charming when he wanted to be. He started talking to Christine and Stephanie. The conversation was easy. The drinks kept coming. Nobody had any reason to think this night would end in horror. At some point during the evening, Wade left with Christine. Stephanie watched them go, thinking nothing of it. Her friends seemed fine. Everything seemed normal. But when Stephanie woke up the next morning and tried to reach Christine, there was no answer. The calls went straight to voicemail. Text messages sat unread. Something was very wrong. What Stephanie didn't know was that Wade Wilson had already strangled Christine Melton to death in her own home. While Stephanie was sleeping peacefully in her own bed, her friend was being murdered just a few miles away. And Wade wasn't done killing yet. That same morning, October 7th, Wade was driving around Cape Coral in Christine's stolen car. A Honda sedan. He still had blood on his hands, but he wasn't panicking. He wasn't hiding. He was looking for someone else. Around noon, he saw her. Diane Ruiz. 43 years old, mother of 2, working as a bartender to support her family. She was walking to work along the side of the road when Wade pulled up beside her in the stolen Honda. He rolled down the window. Asked for directions. Diane, being helpful and friendly like so many people in small towns, approached the car to give him directions. That was her fatal mistake. The moment she got close enough, Wade grabbed her, pulled her into the vehicle.
I followed him to school. He got into class. It was wonderful. This was his very first day. He came home, but he didn't come home. He went on the bus, some other bus. I was frantic. My daughters, I had one daughter going one way, one going the other way, and I went another way. Went to the school, tried to find out where he was. Long story short, there was another child in his class that was very frightened. I was afraid that they couldn't, I think it was a boy, that he couldn't find his way home. So Wade said, I'll take you home. I'll go on the bus with you. So he went on the bus with his young boy, and the boy got off because his mom was waiting at the bus stop. Wade stayed on the bus. The bus driver saw this, and he called into the school, and so that's how we all connected again.
And as he drove through the streets of Cape Coral in broad daylight, he strangled Diane Ruiz with his bare hands while she fought desperately for her life. But here's where this story gets even more horrific. After strangling Diane, Wade realized she was still breathing. She was unconscious but alive. So he pulled her body out of the car, laid her on the ground, got back behind the wheel, and ran over her. Multiple times. Back and forth. Back and forth. Until, in his own words that he would later tell his father, she looked like spaghetti. 2 women dead within hours of each other. 2 women who had never met. 2 women whose only connection was crossing paths with Wade Wilson on the worst day of their lives. After killing Diane, Wade wasn't finished with his crime spree. He drove to a random house, broke in, and made himself at home. He drank beer. Ate food from the refrigerator. Went through the homeowner's belongings. Just casually hanging out at a crime scene he'd created, as if nothing had happened. But then something strange occurred. Wade called his biological father, Stephen Testaseca. Wade had been given up for adoption as a baby when his birth parents were teenagers. Stephen and Wade had reconnected as adults, but they weren't close. The relationship was complicated. So when Wade called that day, Stephen wasn't expecting what came next. Wade said he needed help.
Okay, well, weapons involved are mentioned.
Yeah, he said he stabbed somebody, I guess.
Are you or anyone else in danger right now?
I'm sure everybody is around him right now.
What happened?
My boyfriend beat me up right in front of the spa.
Okay, for what reason?
I stayed the night at my girlfriend's last night, and he called me like over and over. He left me at the bar. I came back, and he tried to get me in the car, and I know once I got in the car I wouldn't ever see tomorrow. So I'm fighting it with all everything that I have. I'm putting under railings. He's dragging me through the fucking parking lot. He punched me straight in the nose. I had a loose tooth.
Do you need EMS?
No, I'm fine. Nothing is hurt that won't heal. I'm
Okay.
fine.
Do you want to press charges?
Yeah,
Okay. How long y'all been dating?
5 months.
Where y'all stay at?
I was staying at Glenn's. He just got out of jail 5 days ago.
No, but where were you living at?
No, at my friend's Glenn's house here.
Glenn? Where's Glenn live?
That he'd done something he couldn't take back. At first, Stephen thought his son was exaggerating or maybe on drugs. But then Wade started describing what he'd done in graphic detail. He told his father about Christine. About Diane. About the strangling. About running Diane over until she didn't look human anymore. Stephen put the phone on speaker so his wife could hear. She immediately called the police while Stephen kept Wade talking. Stephen told Wade he would send an Uber to pick him up, that everything would be okay, just tell me where you are. Wade believed him. He gave his father the address. But Stephen wasn't sending an Uber. He was giving that address directly to law enforcement. And on October 8th, police arrived at the house where Wade was hiding out and arrested him. Not for murder at first, they didn't have enough information yet. They arrested him for burglary, theft, and for beating his girlfriend Melissa Montanez that same morning before he killed Christine. It wasn't until days later, when Diane Ruiz's body was discovered in a field behind a Sam's Club, that the full scope of Wade Wilson's crimes became clear. During the investigation, police interviewed everyone who had interacted with Wade that day. His girlfriend Melissa told them he had attacked her that morning for no reason. Just grabbed her and beat her. She had no idea he would go on to kill 2 women that same day. Stephanie, Christine's friend, was devastated. She kept replaying that night at the bar in her mind. Should she have noticed something? Should she have stopped Christine from leaving? But how could she have known? Wade seemed normal. Charming, even. There were no red flags. Diane Ruiz's family was shattered. Her son Zane was 19 years old. He had just made his high school marching band. His mom was so excited to watch him perform. She never got to see him in the stands. She never got to see him graduate. She would never see him get married. All because she tried to help a stranger with directions. The trial finally began in June 2024, nearly 5 years after the murders. And this is where the story takes another bizarre turn. During those 5 years in jail, Wade Wilson had transformed his appearance. He covered his face with tattoos. A Joker-style smile across his cheeks. Swastikas under his eye and on his head. Teardrops. Face tattoos that made him look like a comic book villain. And then people noticed something. His name. Wade Wilson. The same name as the Marvel character Deadpool. Wade Wilson is Deadpool's real name in the comics. The media started calling him the Deadpool Killer. And something disturbing happened. People, mostly young women, started treating Wade Wilson like he was some kind of celebrity.
911, what is your emergency?
I have a very unstable man that's, I guess, wanted at my office. Hancock Bridge Parkway. He's got tattoos, he's short-lived, he's killed some people, and he just hurt a girl in Hancock Bridge Parkway.
Okay. What is the phone number you're calling from?
239.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
The gentleman's name is Wade something. I have no idea. I went back to my office, my business there, and he was there. He was a cordial friend of a friend associate. He just did something bad, I guess, and was running from somebody. But I need to get him out of my place. And he's saying he's done all these crazy things to somebody and has a stolen car there. It's very odd. Very, very odd.
How you doing? What's going on, man? You're waiting on your girlfriend? Oh, okay. That's no problem. No, I got a call. Somebody was sitting in their car and everything like that. Oh, okay. She's on her way down. Okay. Okay. Now 4-1 to bike 5. ETA? Copy out 10-12. I'll explain it to you when my partner gets here, okay? Yeah. How about this morning? Say again? Yeah, I can do that. But I'm just waiting for my partner to get here. Yeah, absolutely. And here's what's going to happen. This Is the car running? Shut the car up for me. It's off. I'm going to detain you until I figure out what exactly is going on. Wait, you don't want any trouble for me? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to have you step out of the car, and I'm going to detain you. Not arrest. Detain you right now. Okay? And I can't have any problems. You understand me? All right. What's that? Like 5, I'm at Joe's Crab Shack in the parking lot. I will. I give you my word. Yeah. I have to detain you. By our procedures, I have to detain you. Because of the battery this morning. There wasn't any battery? I will. No. Just relax. Let me see the keys to the car. Let me see the keys to the car. Keys. Keys. Wait, we're not going to have any problems. Just give me the keys to the car. Wait. Just wait till my partner gets here. No, 4-1. Gonna need a couple more units. Don't go anywhere. Hey. Don't do it. He's in his car. Attempting to take off. Back out. Yes, please. He's taking off, Fort Myers. Just ran a stop sign going up towards McGregor.
Like he was the actual superhero character instead of a brutal murderer. Social media exploded with people defending him, sending him love letters, creating fan accounts, raising money for his defense. Some people showed up to his trial every single day, not to support the victims, but to support him. They said he was misunderstood, that he was attractive, that he didn't deserve to be punished so harshly. The victims' families were horrified. Robert Melton, Christine's brother, couldn't understand it. His sister was dead. Diane Ruiz was dead. And people were making TikToks about how hot the killer was. During the trial, the prosecution laid out the evidence. Wade's DNA was all over Christine's home. Her car was found with Wade driving it. Witnesses saw him with Diane before she disappeared. Cell phone records placed him at every location. And most damning of all, Wade had confessed everything to his father in that phone call. Stephen Testaseca took the stand and testified against his own son. The defense tried to argue that Wade suffered from brain damage. They brought in neurologists who said brain scans showed trauma from multiple concussions during his youth. For concussions, they said, that affected his impulse control and decision-making. They argued he was mentally ill, that he had bipolar disorder, depression, psychotic episodes. That drugs and alcohol had destroyed his ability to think clearly. But the prosecution had an answer for all of that. Yes, Wade had problems. Yes, he had a troubled past. But that didn't explain the calculated nature of these crimes. He didn't just snap and lose control. He strangled Christine in her home, took her car, drove around for hours, then targeted another woman. He called his father. He broke into a house and ate a meal. These weren't the actions of someone who was completely out of his mind. These were the actions of someone who knew exactly what he was doing. The jury deliberated for just 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. 2 counts of first-degree murder. Grand theft auto. Battery. Burglary. The courtroom erupted. The victims' families cried tears of relief. But the trial wasn't over. In Florida death penalty cases, there's a second phase where the jury decides if the convicted person should get life in prison or death. The defense brought back all their experts. More brain scans. More testimony about Wade's difficult childhood. His adoptive parents wrote a letter begging the judge to spare their son's life. They said Wade was a joyful child once. That the system had failed him. That he was still human underneath all those tattoos and all those crimes. The prosecution brought Diane's son to the stand. Zane Romero looked at the jury and told them about his mother. How she worked so hard for her family. How excited she was about his marching band debut. How he'll never see her in the crowd at his wedding. How that hole in his life will never be filled. Christine's cousin testified too. She talked about how Christine was the godmother to her child. How that child asks about Aunt Christine all the time.
Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
Stephen Testaseca.
Mr. Testaseca, where are you employed?
I'm self-employed.
What type of work do you do?
Window and door replacement.
Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your wife's name? How old are you, sir?
46.
You know someone by the name of Wade Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know Wade Wilson?
He's my son.
How old were you when you found out you were going to be his father?
14 or 15.
How old was his mother at the time?
A year younger than me.
Now, were either of you in a position at that age to be able to raise him?
No, ma'am.
Was he placed up for adoption?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was he adopted by?
Candy and Steve Wilson.
And did they have any connection to you or Wade Wilson's mother?
They went to church with Wade's mother's parents.
So that was how they connected and ended up raising Wade Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do they have any other children?
Yes, ma'am. 2 daughters.
Now, at some point, did you and Wade Wilson connect?
Yes, ma'am.
How old was Wade Wilson when he connected with you?
18.
And was he wanting to connect with you because you're his biological father?
Yes.
And up until that point, had you ever met him?
No, ma'am.
Did you end up attempting to have a relationship with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he seem to want to have a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you have phone calls often?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have occasions where you would see each other?
No. I went up and visited him one time in Tallahassee.
Okay. Now, did he often ask you for money?
Yes, ma'am.
Did your relationship turn into a situation where he was just asking for your help?
Yes, ma'am.
10, we have an update on a story that we've been following all day. Cape Coral police confirmed that they are investigating the death of a woman who lived on Tudor Drive. That woman has been identified as 35-year-old Christine Melton. Viewers tell us she is a waitress. And those we spoke to said they didn't see Melton very often and were wondering what happened.
Well, you think something bad has happened because you don't get yellow crime scene tape put up for no reason.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am State Attorney Amira Fox, and I stand here today with Cape Coral Police Chief Dave Newland and our teams from both our offices to announce the indictment of Wade Stephen Wilson for the murders of Christine Melton, age 35, and Diane Ruiz, 43, both of Cape Coral. The Lee County Grand Jury met today and returned an indictment against Wilson for 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. He was also indicted for 1 count each of battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a dwelling, and first-degree petty theft. Christine Melton was found dead in her Cape Coral home on October 7th. The body of Diane Ruiz was found on October 12th in a field in Cape Coral, 4 days after she was reported missing. I hope today's indictment brings some small comfort to the families of these victims. These two women were preyed upon by the defendant, and their murders impacted their families and shook our community. The Cape Coral Police Department investigated these homicides and the events leading up to them, which led to the arrest of the defendant. And I want to say a huge thank you to Chief Newland, his command staff, and the two detectives who worked this case, among others, who stand up here with us today, Detective Bell and Detective Jones, and thank them for the absolutely excellent investigative work. They were meticulous, they were patient, and that is why we stand here today with a successful indictment for 2 counts of first-degree murder.
How do you explain to a kid that their godmother was strangled to death by a stranger for no reason? The jury made their recommendation. 9 out of 12 voted for death in Christine's case. 10 out of 12 voted for death in Diane's case. Under Florida's new law, passed in 2023, you don't need a unanimous jury to impose the death penalty anymore. You just need 8 out of 12. Wade Wilson was one of the first people sentenced under this controversial new rule. On August 27, 2024, Judge Nicholas Thompson agreed with the jury. He sentenced Wade Wilson to death. 2 death sentences, 1 for each victim. Wade showed no emotion. He just sat there, covered in his face tattoos, staring straight ahead as the judge told him he would die for what he'd done. The judge said the aggravating factors greatly outweighed any mitigating circumstances. The murders were heinous, atrocious, and cruel. Wade showed no remorse. He told detectives after his arrest that he would be willing to do it again. Wade Wilson is now on death row in Florida. He's appealing the sentence, of course. His lawyers are arguing that Florida's new death penalty law is unconstitutional because it was passed after his crimes were committed. They're saying it violates the ex post facto clause, that you can't retroactively apply new laws to old crimes. That case is working its way through the Florida Supreme Court right now. Meanwhile, his strange fan base persists. People still send him letters. Still donate money to his defense fund. Still argue online that he's being treated unfairly. They ignore the facts of the case. They ignore the victims. They focus only on Wade's appearance and his tragic backstory, as if that somehow excuses what he did. But the victims' families haven't forgotten. Robert Melton wants people to remember that this case isn't about Wade Wilson. It's about Christine Melton, a 35-year-old woman who went out for a fun night with friends and never came home. It's about Diane Ruiz, a 43-year-old mother who was walking to work and tried to help a stranger. 2 women who did nothing wrong. Who had no connection to their killer. Who died brutal, terrifying deaths simply because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. This case raises so many questions. How does someone go from being a joyful child to a double murderer by age 25? How much responsibility do we put on mental illness and brain injuries versus personal choice? And why, in an age where we have more information than ever before, do some people choose to idolize killers instead of remembering their victims? Wade Wilson sits on death row now. Whether he'll actually be executed remains to be seen. Florida hasn't executed anyone in over a year, and with his appeals process, it could be decades before any sentence is carried out. If it ever is. But for Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz, there are no appeals. No second chances. No do-overs. Their lives ended on October 7, 2019, at the hands of a man they had no reason to fear until it was too late. The Deadpool killer isn't a superhero. He's not a misunderstood anti-hero. He's a murderer. And the real tragedy isn't his troubled past or his brain injuries or his death sentence. The real tragedy is that 2 innocent women are dead, and nothing will ever bring them back.
So where did you agree to meet him?
Mila Spa.
Now, when you arrived at Mila's spa, did you see your Hellcat?
No.
Did you see a different car?
Yes.
And was it a car that you recognized?
No.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 5. Does this look like the car that he was driving?
Yes.
And again, was that a car you had ever seen before?
No.
Now, when you got there, did you get out and try to talk to him?
Yes.
And again, what were you trying to talk to him about?
I went to the driver's side window. He wrote it down. I said, where are my keys? Where's my car? He was calm and just saying, get in the car, get in the car. And it escalated quickly.
Did you agree to get in the car?
No.
And when you would not agree to get in the car, how did he act?
Violent, aggressive, tried to pull me in the car physically, and I resisted, got plank style so that he could not grab me into the vehicle.
When you say you got plank style, could you just show the jurors what you mean by that?
And I was being pulled into the car by my dress.
Okay, so for the record, you just stood up and put your hands straight above your head.
Yes, so that I was not being able to be budged into the vehicle.
And you said he's pulling at your dress.
Yes.
Can you describe in more detail how he's pulling at your dress?
He's pulling dress, probably a little hair, everything, and then the dress starts to rip off of my body.
And what happens after that?
Once he realizes that the threads were becoming, I was getting away from him and he was still holding onto the dress, he opens the car door, obviously forgets to put it in park. The car starts to roll forward. He tackles to me to the ground. The car grazes both of our legs and I'm pummeled to the ground.
How hard did he push you to the ground?
I'm sorry, I don't recall. This is also fast and he's very heavy and I'm 5'2", he's 6'6", so.
Now, what happens after you are pushed to the ground?
I start to get beat.
Okay. Describe what you mean when you say he was beating you.
It all went so fast and so slow, whether it be punches, slapping, choking, that kind of nature. Yes.
Now, you mentioned that the fight is happening around the car. Does the fight move at some point?
Yes, so I either get dragged, pulled, can't remember, by my hair, arm, or dress, I'm trying to reason with him, trying to talk to him, but there's nobody behind those eyes anymore. So there was no reasoning with him. I got to the front of the staircase, and I'm holding onto that, and a crowd begins to develop. I'm expecting people to help, call 911, so I'm just trying to bide my time at that point as quickly as help can get there, and that's not working either. I'm starting to get punched and grabbed and choked and all kinds of things again. Somehow we move up to the upper level. I'm trying to convince him, let's just go in Mila's spa. We'll talk about it there. We're safe there.
Now, did he end up calling you later that evening?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did he tell you in that call that evening?
The final call?
Nope, the call before the final call.
He just told me, he did something. There was 2 people gone that would not be back. He said, I'm a killer. I just told him to call me back. I just thought it was another story,
So at this point, when he says that there were 2 people that wouldn't be with us and that he was a killer, did you put a lot of weight into that?
No, ma'am.
Do you think he was just telling you a story?
He's a good storyteller.
So did he then call you back a 3rd time?
Yes, ma'am.
What time did he call you back?
It was around 10 o'clock.
I want to go back to that dinner time call. When he talked about these 2 people who were no longer with us and that he was a killer, did he show any type of remorse?
No, ma'am.
So let's go now to the 10 o'clock call. Again, your wife knew about kind of what was going on during that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And when he called back at 10, did he go into more details about what he had told you earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start with the first girl. If you could tell the jurors, what did he tell you?
He just said he met a girl at a bar. They went back to her house, hung out for a little bit, and then she fell asleep.
What did he say happened after she fell asleep?
He said he got on top of her and choked her.
What name did he call her? Did he refer to her in a derogatory term?
He said, I choked that bitch.
Okay. And what did he say he did after he choked her?
He said he stayed in the house for a little while, and then he rolled her up and was going to try to put her in her trunk, but he couldn't lift her.
Did he say why he was unable to put her in her trunk?
He said that he felt like rigor mortis had started to set in.
And does rigor mortis make your body stiff? You didn't know?
I think so. Yeah.
So he just told you that that was the reason that he couldn't lift her and get her into her trunk?
Yes, ma'am.
And when he said her trunk, it was the trunk of her car he was going to put her in?
Yes, ma'am.
So what did he tell you he did when he couldn't get her body into her own trunk?
He left her there and took her car.
What did he say about the second girl?
He said he saw her walking down the street and stopped and asked her for directions. And she got in the car with him.
What did he say happened once she got in the car with him?
He said he reached over and choked her.
And did he tell you that he choked her while he was driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what did he say happened after he choked her?
He said he was looking for a place to put her body.
Did he find a place where he eventually dumped her body?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he tell you about the situation when he got to the place where he was going to dump her body?
He said that he pulled her out of the car and realized that she was still breathing.
So what did he tell you he did when he realized she's still breathing?
He said he got back in the car and ran her over until she looked like spaghetti.
Now, the whole time that he's telling you these details, is your wife hearing any of these details?
I had the phone on speakerphone.
Now, prior to him telling you these details, how did you feel about turning him in to law enforcement?
I initially wanted to help him.
Okay. Did you feel conflicted about giving him over to law enforcement initially?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point when you're talking with him, did that feeling change?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I just thought, what if that was my mom or my daughter or sister or wife? I wouldn't want somebody to do that.
And did you have additional concerns of what might happen if you didn't turn him into law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that, sir?
He would have done it again.
Now, after he's telling you all these details, do you know where he's at when he's telling you these things?
I just knew he was in a house that he broke into when he was running from the police.
Did you know the actual address of this house he broke into?
No, ma'am.
Now, when you were talking to him and you decided that you needed to give the information to law enforcement about his whereabouts, how did you get that address from him?
I told him I was going to send him an Uber and I needed the address.
Wilson, 19 CF 568. Mr. Wilson, you're charged with first-degree murder, grand theft auto, battery, a second first-degree murder, burglary of a dwelling, occupied, and petty theft. State want to be heard?
Briefly, Judge. Andreas Gardner on behalf of the state. The state respectfully requesting Mr. Wilson be held no bond.
Defense?
Your Honor, charge on public punishment. I believe Judge Branning took testimony and signed habeas. Any other bond motions will be conducted with the trial judge.
Very good. Mr. Wilson will be held without bond. Your court date is November 25th, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 4A. If somehow you get out of jail, you will have no contact directly. Is that someone? All right. You will have no contact directly or indirectly with Melissa Lynn Montez, is away from 29 West Street in Fort Myers, Florida. Do you understand that, sir?
Sure.
That's all for today. All right.
Verdict? All right, do you have the verdict form? All right, you pass that to the bailiff. The verdict form appears to be in order. I'll have the clerk publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 20th Judicial Circuit and in Fort Lee County, Florida, criminal action. State of Florida versus Wade Wilson. Case number 19 CF 0568. Verdict. We, the jury, finds as follow as to the defendant in this case. Count 1, first-degree murder, Christine Melton. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Count 2, grand theft motor vehicle. The defendant is guilty of grand theft motor vehicle. Count 3, battery. The defendant is guilty of battery. Count 4, first-degree murder, Diane Ruiz. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.